Welcome to the deep dive. We've got some really interesting sources you sent over, and we've spent some time digging in to pull out the key ideas for you.
Yeah, basically giving you a shortcut to understanding a couple of pretty innovative platforms.
Exactly. This time we're looking at alnas.org and Akrmna.com.
Right. Both seem built around this idea of empowerment, but tackling it from different angles. One's more about community, society.
And the other's focused on, well, how businesses and individuals connect and get things done. And for you, our listener, since you want to get the core concepts quickly and really understand them, our mission is just that: cut through the noise, highlight what's genuinely important about these platforms.
And what impact they might actually have.
So thinking about why you're interested, maybe it's new ways to boost community voices or perhaps innovative business tools. What's the main thing you're hoping to get clarity on today?
Well, let's maybe start with alnas.org.
Sounds good. Dive right in.
Okay, so alnas.org, at its heart, it seems to be about creating a really democratic and secure platform. The goal is making sure every voice matters.
So big focus on transparency, fairness, justice, bapes right into how society or even government might work.
Precisely. That's the ambition.
Okay, big ambition. But how do they actually, try to make that happen? What are the tools, the features?
Well, the way they encourage participation is pretty interesting. It's not just voting now and then.
Right.
Users can vote, share, and comment on elections, but they can also propose changes to laws and even help settle disputes. It seems like the idea is to spread power out, act as a check against maybe abuse of power.
So it's that direct democracy angle that's key, not just voting, but actually proposing and resolving things, bypassing the usual channels.
Yeah, I think that's a crucial insight. It could potentially speed things up, make governance more responsive. But, there are always questions, too. Manipulation, maybe? Right. Or just the loudest voices winning out.
True. Good point. You also mentioned representation. How does that work?
Yeah, and that's about amplifying collective voices. So individuals can run as candidates,
okay,
or they can be electors within whatever system they set up, or even formally represent others. It's about making sure groups feel their concerns get heard.
Interesting. Now, what about keeping it going? You mentioned they don't rely on donations, which is unusual. How does that self-funding work?
Exactly. That's quite unique. Alnas.org uses fees for specific actions. So maybe a fee to apply to be a candidate.
Okay.
Or to formally propose a law amendment or start a dispute resolution process.
Right.
This gives them their own revenue stream. In theory, it keeps them independent, unbiased.
Makes sense. But the potential flip side is, do those fees become a barrier, keep some people out?
That's definitely the potential downside, yeah. They need to balance that carefully.
So thinking bigger picture, long-term impact, what makes Alnas.org potentially stand out? Why should someone, say an investor looking at impact, pay attention?
Well, I think it's because they're tackling a really fundamental global issue. The need for more accountability, more justice in how things are run.
Right.
And that self-sustaining model isn't just about money. It suggests it could last, without being easily influenced by outside donors. That makes it potentially quite impactful and, sustainable.
Okay, that really tees up a question for you, our listener. Thinking about this model, direct participation, self-funding, what do you see as the biggest challenge for a platform like alnas.org to actually get widely adopted and really change how society works?
Yeah, good question.
Now, let's switch gears. Akrmna.com, what's the core idea there?
Akrmna.com is all about connections, specifically connecting individuals and companies smoothly.
Okay.
Their mission is to be this comprehensive digital space. You can show off what you offer, you can collaborate well, and even make decisions democratically inside a company.
So it's trying to be an all-in-one place for business and professional life?
Kind of, yeah. What's interesting is combining the marketplace with communication and project tools. It creates this potential end-to-end ecosystem.
Right, which could streamline things, maybe cut down costs compared to using separate tools for everything.
Exactly. Lower transaction costs, smoother workflows. That's the potential.
So what are some of the specific features they've built to achieve this?
Well, there's quite a list. It starts with dynamic profiles for people and companies to really detail products, services, skills. Helps make those first connections meaningful.
Okay, profiles make sense.
Then there's a built-in marketplace. It handles different ways to buy outright purchase, installments, even buyouts, trying to make commerce easy right there on the platform.
So professional networking meets e-commerce. Got it. What else?
Communication's obviously key, so they have internal messaging for direct collaboration. They've got media management tools, uploading, syncing files easily, And then this thing called organizational command chains.
Command chains, what's that about?
Think of it like tools for managing teams, reporting structures,
Yeah.
like a live org chart almost. Helps with supervision, reporting, general company efficiency.
Okay, that's quite a bit already, but I feel like there's more.
Oh, yeah. They also have event management, public, private events, seeing who's attending, messaging them,
Right.
and, interestingly, an education platform. Companies can create their own courses for employees, job applicants, even the public.
An integrated LMS, basically. That's useful for a skills development.
Definitely. And for actually doing projects, they have tools for crowdsourcing ideas.
Ah, okay.
And even hiring experts directly for project work, study, design, getting it done, plus a space for projects seeking crowd investment.
Wow. And HR stuff, too.
Yep. Online, recorded interviews, resume uploads, connecting job seekers and hiring managers directly.
It really does sound incredibly comprehensive. You mentioned decision-making tools earlier.
Yes, that's another key piece. Tools that allow for democratic voting and participation by employees within a company.
Trying to make internal decisions more inclusive, more balanced.
That seems to be the goal, yes.
With so many features packed in, is there a risk it becomes, too complicated, maybe hard for users to get into?
That's always a possibility with feature-rich platforms. Yeah, user experience would be critical.
So looking at Akrmna.com overall with this huge toolkit, what's the value proposition? What makes it appealing for, say, long-term growth or investment?
I think the big appeal is that it's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's not just one tool solving one problem.
Right.
It's this multifaceted platform addressing needs for both individuals and businesses. That interconnectedness could really drive collaboration, innovation, better governance within companies.
And because it covers so much ground, it could apply to lots of different industries, creating lots of ways to, make money.
Exactly. That suggests scalability and diverse monetization opportunities.
Okay, quite the package they've assembled. So for you, our listener, looking at all these different parts of Akrmna.com, the marketplace, the project tools, the HR stuff, the decision-making, which feature strikes you as having the most potential to really change how businesses run or how people work together professionally.
Yeah. Which one jumps out? It's interesting, isn't it? Both platforms aim to empower, but in such different ways. Alnas for society, Akrmna for business.
Do you see any crossover, any lessons one could maybe learn from the other?
That's a great question. Maybe around the mechanisms for participation, even if the context is different. But it definitely highlights the sheer scale and ambition involved in building something like these.
Oh, absolutely. We're not talking simple apps here. These are complex, interconnected systems, takes a massive effort.
Monumental.
We actually got some estimates, just rough figures, on how long it might take one person to build these using something like Flutterflow, putting in about 15 hours a week. Let's start with alnas.org.
Okay. So based on the core stuff, voting, comments, candidate applications, handling the fees you're probably looking at, maybe 10 to 15 weeks just for that initial build.
Right.
Then managing all the different user types, voters, candidates, representatives, add another 4 to 6 weeks, maybe.
Okay.
The back-end database, security, handling sensitive info, that's crucial, say 6 to 8 weeks. Designing the interface, making it easy to use, another 4 to 6 weeks. And then testing, debugging. Always takes time. Another 4 to 6 weeks.
So if you add all those phases up for alnas.org, working solo, part-time, what's the ballpark?
You're landing somewhere around 28 to 41 weeks total for one person working 15 hours a week.
Wow. Okay. That's half a year to almost a year of part-time work. Now, akrmna.com, the more feature-heavy one, what's the estimate there?
Yeah, that one's definitely bigger. The core features, profiles, messaging, marketplace, decisions, events, probably 15 to 20 weeks.
Okay, just for the core.
Then the advanced stuff, the education platform, project tools, investment space, HR, they could easily add another 10 to 15 weeks.
Right.
Back end and database for all that data, maybe 8 to 10 weeks. UI UX design for something so complex, 6 to 8 weeks. And then testing everything together, another 6 to 8 weeks, realistically.
So crunching those numbers for akrmna.com.
That puts it somewhere in the range of 45 to 61 weeks. Again, for one person, 15 hours a week.
So if someone ambitious decided to build both of these one after the other in this scenario,
combining those estimates, you're looking at 73 to 102 weeks total.
So roughly 1.5 to almost 2 years.
Yeah. It really hammers home the effort involved, the complexity.
Certainly does. And of course, like the info suggests, if you had a team or just worked more hours, you could speed that up significantly.
Oh, absolutely. Collaboration changes the game.
But it gives you, our listener, a really solid sense of the scale, right? The ambition behind creating platforms that do this much.
Definitely. Makes them feel much more tangible understanding of the work behind them.
So let's wrap this up. To summarize our deep dive today, we looked at alnas.org, focusing on using tech for more democratic, transparent societal processes.
Right, and then akrmna.com offering this huge suite of tools to connect individuals and businesses for collaboration, innovation, and better internal decision-making.
Both really innovative ideas in their own spaces, tackling big needs, potentially with models that could scale and last.
Yeah, significant approaches.
And that brings us to one final thought for you to chew on. Thinking about platforms like these, alnas.org, akrmna.com, what are the fundamental shifts, the big transformations you see technology bringing to how we govern ourselves and how we work together professionally in the next few years? It's moving so fast.
It really is.
Yep.
Does looking at platforms like these make you think differently about how certain things, society, business functions might operate down the road?
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into alnas.org and akrmna.com. We hope exploring them gave you a clearer picture of their potential and just the sheer work involved in building such ambitious projects.
Yeah, hopefully it was insightful. We definitely encourage you to keep thinking about what these kinds of platforms mean, maybe look into other initiatives out there shaping the future.
Because the tech landscape just keeps changing, and its impact on society and business is only going to grow. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring those possibilities.